Hello, and welcome back everyone. This video is part 3 of a 4-part series introducing the Remodeled Getty Provenance Index, now in the ARCHES platform. For an introduction to data models, please go back and watch part 1 of this series. For an exploration of the new interface, please watch part 2. To stay in the loop, please subscribe to the Getty Research Institute's channel. We will be posting more training videos there in the coming weeks. In this video, we are going to dive into searching the Remodeled Getty Provenance Index using simple, advanced, and safe searches. Let's get started and explore some simple search capabilities. There are a couple of different search strategies happening in the background when using simple search. One is keyword searching. When I search individual terms separately, I am doing a keyword search. A keyword search means I am asking the search tool to see if my keywords exist anywhere in the contents of the database. You can filter your results by data resource type. So now I know I'm only getting physical objects with my search terms in them. You can also sort results in ascending or descending order. And you can clear your entire search by using clear filters. Another search strategy is searching on phrases, which functions like a string search. When I search on a phrase, I am asking the search tool to see if this phrase exists anywhere in the contents of the database. When I am doing either of these two kinds of searches, the search tool is case insensitive. Capitalization does not matter. An even more restrictive way to search is to use quotation marks. Searching with quotes makes your search exact and exclusive. This means you are searching on this exact string, the search results are case sensitive, and you will only get results where just the string exactly as you have written it exists somewhere in the results. And one last thing I'd like to point out is that we also have search negation as a search feature. This means that you can enter more than one word or phrase into your search terms, and then click on each one to negate them from your search parameters. Simply click them again to add them back in at any time. Now let's take a look at how to leverage the advanced search. This time, let's say the query is, I've found a specific auction event and I'm interested in seeing all of the lots connected to it. How can I view those titles? Okay, let's start with what information we have to begin with. And for the sake of this exercise, let's say I have the loot number for an auction catalog documenting this sale. For this example, our loot number is 5650. So, what's the strategy for getting from an identifier for a sales catalog to all the objects offered at auction? We're going to start by using this loot number to find a sale catalog, which is a textual work. Via its related resources, we are going to find the auction event, which is an activity, and via that activity's related resources, we are going to find the paintings, which are physical objects that were offered at auction. So here we are in the search interface again, and remember, we are using a loot number to get started, which is an identifier for a textual work. So we're going to look at our advanced search options for textual works and select identifier for textual work. Next, I'm going to enter my identifier number 5650, and even just with this, I have managed to filter down my results significantly. But to be more precise, I'm going to specify that this identifier type is a loot number, which gets me directly to the sales catalog. When I open the resource for this sales catalog, we get to the Data tab first, which is the default view for all of our resources. I'm looking for the related auction event that this catalog is documenting, so I'm going to click over to Related Resources. And right away at the top, I see that there is an auction event related to this catalog. So let's hop over there. Now I am able to see information about this auction event. However, I'm looking for the titles of the art objects offered at this sale. And that's another way of saying, I want to see the physical objects related to this activity. So once again, let's look at the related resources for this event. And here I see the sale of the individual lots connected to this sale. Here I see a location associated with this sale. Here again, I see the sale catalog documenting this sale. And here, I'm finding all of the physical objects linked to this sale. And in this case, they are all paintings. I can expand the list to see more titles at once and page through the results. You can continue to explore relationships by clicking through to an individual painting, see other people, places, and events related to that painting, and so on and so on. And that's the strength of this kind of data model. Now, let's say I want to do that same search, but I'm not familiar enough with the new data model to know that a loot number is an identifier for a textual work. That's where saved searches comes in handy. So let's say I'm getting started, but I don't know where to start with advanced search. I'm clicking through the models, opening up various facet options, but I'm just not sure which one is right for the query I want to construct. My first step is always to look at the saved searches to see if there's something there that can help me. Each saved search has a brief title and a description. This will let me know which model the search is targeting and which data points are required for the search. As I scroll through, eventually I'm going to find something promising. I see this saved search is specifically for searching on loot numbers. When you select a saved search, it will automatically load the search parameters and have the necessary fields populated with an example search. This way I can see that this is the field name I want to use, here is where I specify the type, and here is where my number goes. You can simply delete the pre-filled number or value and add your own in order to continue on with your own research. Another feature of advanced search is that you can construct more complex advanced search queries by stacking multiple fields for a search. And as a reminder, you are searching for resources that are in specific data models. So if you are combining search elements to refine a search, you can only use facets or fields from the same data model. For example, you cannot refine a search for a physical object resource by adding facets from the event model, because the event model facets do not exist in the physical object model. Now for this example, let's start with a saved search that's looking for keywords and titles for physical objects. Here we can see that this is looking for the word turban in the field name of object, and it's giving us 1,697 results. This is great, but let's say I want to be more specific and look for drawings with turban in the title. In remembering our data types, I know a drawing is a type of physical object. This is the field I need in order to facet my results. Now when I click on type of object, this facet is added to my name of object facet, and I can use it to search for drawings. This gets me 129 results. I can click through and select other types of objects to see how that might affect my search results. Here I see this search is returning 1,126 paintings, and this one, 167 sculptures. I can use these Boolean operators by toggling between and or I can have my search look for all objects with the word turban in their titles which are not sculptures by flipping the search to a not search rather than an equals search. Now let's take a look at a side-by-side comparison of the same kind of query done in the legacy platform and then replicated in the remodeled platform. So here we are starting in the legacy platform, where you'll see that all of the different data sets are siloed and they can be included or excluded using these radio buttons. For my example, I am going to search for the dealer Thomas Hope. I would look for him in the owners field, which has these radio buttons to indicate if I am looking for him as a buyer, a seller, or in either field. And when I am searching for Thomas Hope, what is actually happening is the database is searching for this spelling of Thomas and this spelling of Hope. It is not searching for the entity that represents the person Thomas Hope. When I search, I'll get my results, all of which are transcriptions of entries in either a sale catalog or stock book. The results are laid out in rows, pulling data from each record, and we can see at the top the number of results, and we can page through as needed. So now let's go back to the search page and see if we can cross-reference Thomas Hope with a title for a painting. In this case, my example will be St. Lawrence Justinian. And again, this search is asking the database to retrieve records that have all 5 words, Thomas, Hope, St. Lawrence, and Justinian, somewhere in the text of the record as I have spelled them. And we can see that the GPI has 1 result. And when we open it, we can see the transcription of the sales catalog entry for the auction of this painting, and that there is an annotation in one of the catalog copies indicating that 1T Hope was the buyer. So now let's hop over to the remodeled GPI. To find an owner, otherwise known as a buyer or a seller, what we're looking for is a provenance activity in which a transfer of custody or transfer of ownership took place. So these are the fields that I'm going to pull up. These are 2 separate fields because we do have provenance activities in which custody of the artwork changes hands, but ownership does not. It may seem redundant to have to check both fields, but they exist in order to capture all kinds of provenance data. Now you might notice on the left-hand side that the number of results in the remodeled database is slightly different. This is because in the legacy database, we had to split lots in order to make individual objects findable. This is a handicap required by the data model only reflecting the transcription of the source document rather than the events that actually took place. In the remodeled GPI, we are able to recombine the split lots to accurately reflect the correct number of lot sets. Now you can see that I am adding multiple instances of the same advanced search field in order to search Thomas Hope as either the actor receiving custody, ceding custody, receiving ownership, or ceding ownership. And I'm doing this by clicking on the OR button each time I add a new field. In this case, which is true for the majority of our data, the number of results doesn't change when I add transfer of ownership to my transfer of custody search. This means that for every transfer of custody that Thomas Hope is involved in, there is a corresponding transfer of ownership. So here you can see the number of results is 34 regardless. Because I now know I don't need to search both cases, I'm confident that I can remove transfer of ownership and simplify my query by searching on transfer of custody. So now I want to add my painting. I can do this in a couple of ways. I can add our painting, which again is St. Lawrence Justinian, to our advanced search in the field object transferred. We get no results initially because the GPI does not have any record of Thomas Hope selling this painting. So now I'm switching Thomas Hope to the receiving custody field. And now I can see our record of him buying this painting. If you want to be less targeted in your search, an easy way to see if Thomas Hope either bought or sold this painting is to go back to our subset of data that included Thomas Hope as either the buyer or the seller, and then to search on the title of the painting in the simple search bar. The advanced search fields are searching for entities, so these are exact and unique people, objects, and events. The simple search is less exact. You don't have to choose an entity from the drop-down menu. You can simply search on strings. So this means I can use the advanced search to facet down the pool of resources I am targeting for my search, and then use simple search to look for words or phrases appearing within those resources. In our next and final video for this series, we will take a look at the Related Resources graph feature. However, before we end, I would like to share with you some exciting new features on the horizon for the Getty Provenance Index. To start, more saved searches. We want to hear from you and all of our users. What kinds of searches do you need? What are the searches that you would like to have handy in our saved search menu? We populate that with feedback directly from our users, so please let us know what you would like to see. Next, we are developing a map feature to plot all of the location information we have in our data on an interactive map. And then, of course, we will have archival inventories joining sales catalogs and stock books in the remodeled platform. We are eager to see what connections can be made explicitly between these data sets. Next, we are exploring more user-friendly ways to query the data via the Sparkle endpoint, which is the query language for semantic data. We hope this will facilitate more powerful and complex queries. And we have new data coming. We have auction data from American sales catalogs to add to the Remodeled Index in the future. And finally, we are continuously working with developers to update and improve the Remodeled Index's interface to make it more intuitive and user-friendly. Most importantly, I want to really emphasize that all of the improvements we make are driven by user feedback. We sincerely want to hear all of your suggestions and comments about how we can make the Provenance Index work for you. Please keep practicing with the Remodeled GPI, and again, we welcome your continued feedback on the platform. If you run into any problems, want to make a correction within the data, or have any questions regarding the Provenance Index, please reach out to us via the feedback form, which is on the GPI's homepage and in this image circled in yellow. You can also use this form to request other topics for future videos that will get more specific and really dig into a particular topic. Don't forget to subscribe to the Getty Research Institute's channel, and make sure to keep an eye out for more training videos on other topics and features of the Remodeled Getty Provenance Index. Thank you for your interest, and we will see you in the next video.